What if I told you that most people don't plan to fail in retirement, they just fail to plan? It's true. Folks work hard their whole lives, save diligently, and they think, I got a good balance in my 401k, I'll be fine. And listen, if you've worked hard to save, you deserve a lot of credit, because that's no small feat. But here's the truth. Retirement isn't just about having money. It's about whether that money is set up to work for you in the correct way. And that's where a lot of people run into trouble. Think about the difference between your working years and your retirement years. When you were working, you had a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. If the market went down, your 401k balance might drop for a while, but you were still contributing. You had time to let it recover. In retirement, there's a big change. You're no longer adding money in, you're taking the money out. And when you start withdrawing from your accounts, the stakes are much higher. A market drop in retirement doesn't just feel different, it is different. Let me share 2 stories to show what I mean. Let's talk about a fictional couple. We'll call them Jim and Lisa. They retired in 2007, saved well, felt comfortable, and they assumed everything will be just fine. But then 2008 happened. The market dropped nearly 40%. And because they didn't have a clear income strategy, they had no choice but to sell investments while they were down just to cover their living expenses. That 1 year did long-term damage. Their nest egg shrank, and even though the market eventually recovered, their portfolio never really bounced back the same way. More importantly, their confidence was shaken. Instead of enjoying retirement, they found themselves worrying constantly about every dollar they spent. Now compare that to another family. We'll call them Mark and Susan. They also retired around that same time, right before 2008 and the downturn. But they had a written plan. Their advisor had helped them set aside several years of safe money, cash, and short-term bonds to cover their income needs. They had a war chest set aside. So when the market dropped, they didn't have to sell anything. They continued to live off their safe bucket. Their long-term investment stayed invested, and when the market recovered, their portfolio recovered too. Now, they never felt the panic Jim and Lisa did. In fact, when everyone else was anxious, they stayed calm because their plan, well, it was built for that kind of scenario. Same age, same savings, same market environment, but 2 completely different retirements. The difference? A plan. And here's the thing. A plan isn't just about investments. It's about coordinating all the moving parts of your financial life. Your income sources, your taxes, your healthcare costs, your lifestyle goals, even what you want to leave behind for your family. It's about stress testing those pieces against real-world risk so you're not caught off guard. One of the biggest risks in retirement is something called sequence of returns risk. That's a fancy term, but here's the idea. It's simple. The order in which you experience market returns really matters. Here's an example. Let's say you retire with $1 million and over 20 years the market averages 6% per year. Sounds great, right? But if those bad years happen early while you're withdrawing money, your balance could drain much faster than you expect. You could run out of money even though the average returns look fine on paper. Now that's why a plan matters. A good plan makes sure you have safe income to rely on during the down years so your long-term investments have time to recover. And it's not just market risk. Retirement today often lasts 25 or 30 years. That's as long as your entire career. Over that kind of time frame, you've got to plan for inflation. Prices will rise. The $5,000 a month that feels comfortable right now might not be enough in 15 or 20 years. Without a plan to grow your income, your lifestyle could slowly get squeezed. Then there's health care. Medicare is a huge help, but it doesn't cover everything. You've got premiums, deductibles, co-pays, and medications. And if you or your spouse need long-term care, whether it's in-home help or a nursing facility, those costs can skyrocket. Without planning, healthcare can quickly become one of the biggest threats to your retirement security. And of course, there are taxes. Many retirees make the assumption that taxes will automatically be lower when they stop working. But if most of your savings are in pre-tax accounts like IRAs and 401ks, every dollar you take out is taxable. On top of that, Social Security can be taxable too. And if tax laws change, you could find yourself paying more than you ever expected. A plan helps you see those risks before they blindside you. It helps you build strategies like Roth conversions, safe income buckets, insurance protection, or flexible withdrawal strategies so you can adopt no matter what happens. Now, does having a plan mean you'll never face challenges? Of course not. Life will always throw you curveballs. But what a plan gives you is confidence. It turns those what-ifs into scenarios you've already prepared for. Instead of reacting in fear, you can respond with clarity, knowing you've already thought through your options. That's why I tell people all the time, don't go into retirement without a written plan. A portfolio is not a plan. A savings balance is not a plan. A plan is a roadmap that coordinates income, investments, taxes, healthcare, and legacy. And that roadmap gives you peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, retirement shouldn't be about fear or uncertainty. It should be about freedom. The freedom to enjoy the years you've worked so hard for, and that freedom comes from having a plan. If you're within 5 years of retirement and don't have a written plan yet, now's the perfect time to put one together. If you'd like help stress testing your income, taxes, and investments, I'd be glad to sit down with you and talk you through your situation. And together, we can put your retirement on cruise control.